And now we begin. It's day 2 of the trial. Went from a larceny trial to a murder trial. Hey, Nick. What is it this time? You won't believe how many people are here for the trial. Well, it is a murder case. What are you talking about? They're here for the trial next door. What? Next door? Why didn't you know this, Nick? They're having Detective Atmy's trial today. Detective Atmy. They say they're going to try him as mask to mask. Already? That was fast. Boy, I'd love to see Mask to Mask's trial. I know. By the way, where's Pearls? Oh, she went back home. She said she can't neglect her training anymore. I know you don't like her. Who's that? Pearls has really gotten into her training lately, huh? Yeah, ever since that incident last year. Oh, right, I got her mom arrested. Please, don't ignore me! Oh, Mr. Delight. Good morning. No one likes me. No one would notice me, even if I killed someone. Come on, don't be silly. Wait a sec. You don't mean you're the murderer? No, no. I'm just a poor thief. No, that's not right. A thief can't really be poor. Nah. No, actually lots of thieves are thieves because, they were born in poverty. You steal only what I can afford. That's everything. These guys don't appreciate I'm broke. Riff-raff, street rat, scoundrel, attack back. If only think the closer would they see a poor boy. That's copyrighted. Now let's see, according to Mr. Delight, from his second crime on, he was following a bunch of set plans. We hope this audio isn't cutting itself, the boobity-boo. I've had a lot of problems, like, on TikTok, when you record itself, for some reason, it, like, stops recording, like, the recording lags, and so when you play back your recording, like, the audio cut. Oh, see? It sounds like that. It cuts itself. I hope that's not happening. Plans that someone had been sending to him to help him commit the heists. Don't tell me he's gonna do the Nuremberg defense. That's too far. I went too far. Do you really think there's a connection to the thief and between the thief and the murder, Nick? It's possible, but today's trial is a race against the clock. Huh? How come? Let's just take our time like always. I'm afraid that's not an option. Because the other trial is happening. Because the other trial is happening. And so if Luke gets if the court decides that Luke is the murderer, that's the final nail in Ron's coffin.
Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Ron Delight. By the way, Phoenix, have you heard of the Apollo Justice trilogy? Coming to Steam on January 25th, 2024. Pre-orders available this fall.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. You're ready.
Preparation is the last refuge of the weak.
Bruh.
Okay, settle down, everyone. Let's begin with your opening statement, Mr. Godot.
Mr. Godot. Yes, Your Honor. Statement. Ha 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 ha. Your Honor, I might not have a big butt like my worthy adversary, Phillips. But what I do have... Yeah, this gotta be turned down. There we go.
Ron Delight is simply too young to be sent to war. That's all. I'm afraid I have no idea what that means, Mr. Godot. Then you need to get out more, Your Honor. Life is war, but that is exactly why you must be more precise in your wording. That's all my statement means. You understand now, right? Yes, well then, let me briefly summarize the details of this case.
Wow, the judge is taking charge like he knows what's going on for a change. of the implication, of course, being that he usually has no idea.
The victim is Kane Bullitt, CEO of KB Security. His body was found in a safe at approximately 9 a.m. on the morning of the night 13th. However, the time of death was estimated as 1 a.m. of the previous day. And that's when our little lost kitten dropped the ball. Hello there, kitten. I have noticed you haven't been on Discord recently, and Daddy is gutted displeased. I would appreciate a method.
The little lost kitten is, of course, the defendant.
Very well then, Mr. Cadeau. Please call your first witness. I never drink more than 17 cups of coffee during any given trial.
That's a lot of caffeine, dude.
But the first one is always the best. Mr. Cadeau, your witness. Okay then, let's hear what the defendant, Mr. Rondelite, has to say for himself. The defendant? Well, Mr. Wright, does the defense have any objections? It may be a bit of a disadvantage having the defendant testify, but...
I remember when Mia was defending me. Oh! She allowed me to testify so she could do the cross-examine. More like Winston Payne made you testify and then made Mia do the cross-examination, basically making the defense do his job for him because Winston Payne is a piece of shit slimeball scumbag. He put a lot of trust in me back then. We have no objections, Your Honor. The defense will allow Mr. Delight to testify.
Huh. You got guts, Trite.
Well, Larry Butts.
All right then, Mr. Londonite, please take the stand. You did it, didn't you?
Yes.
What?
No. That's not true.
For a moment there, I thought we'd set the record for the shortest trial ever.
Well, Mr. Light already looks plenty guilty with that face he's making. Like a dog who just got accused of stealing the last piece of sausage. And once he opens his big mouth, he'll probably put the last nail in his own coffin. Hey, that's what I said.
Very well. Now then, can you tell me something? If you didn't kill Bullard, why did you go to KB Security?
Well, that's kind of hard to say. Boy, I wish I could have gone home.
Now then, let's hear some testimony about what happened.
That evening, around 1 a.m., I went to see Mr. Bullard in his office at KB Security. The blackmail letter I got, it ordered me to go there. I'd been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was. That's it? But you were fired. This is like, the
exact time the murder took place. The weak get washed away by the tides of fate. The strong drink it up.
Your Honor, permission to treat this witness as hostile? Permission granted. I'm gonna shoot you in the face. That would ruin my day.
It's bitter today, too, just like my destiny.
You'd never know that from the way he's chugging it down.
Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please.
That evening, around 1 a.m., I went to see Mr. Bullard in his office at KB Security. 1 a.m., huh? You're absolutely sure about that? Yes, that's what my watch said when I was entering the CEO's office. No, actually, I'm not really sure. My watch was slow, and my internal clock was also...
1 a.m., that's the exact time the victim, Mr. Bullard, was murdered, correct?
It's too late for a coffee date, that's for sure. More like too early, because it's in the morning. The blackmail letter I got, it ordered me to go there. Blackmail letter? It ordered you there? It was the first time I'd gotten a blackmail letter that ordered me to go somewhere.
Does that mean you've gotten other blackmails, then?
Oh, of course. They'd say things like, steal this, or take that. No, not hold it, take that. Why don't you say those for later, Mr. Light? Please don't say anymore. I don't know, a plea bargain would actually be probably your best bet here. Plead guilty to theft. That way they can't try you for murder. Now, what should I do? That is how plea bargains work, right? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. So, what did the blackmail letter in question say? I feel like as long as you're not cross-examining a clown, it's fine if you press harder. It said to bring $50,000.
Money, eh? A perfect motive for committing murder.
Oh, but wait! I never intended to pay that money anyway!
Oh? Is that right?
That just makes you look more guilty, dude. I never intended to pay that money. I would even go so far as to kill so I wouldn't have to pay. After all, he had nothing to hold over my head. I had nothing to be afraid of.
An important point indeed.
Oh my god, the judge is sympathizing with the defendant.
Witness, let's have that added to your testimony.
Yes, sir. A muddy mud skipper in outer space has a better chance of surviving than I do. How old is Kane? Nobody knows. Oh, the judge doesn't have a profile, so we don't know his age either. The blackmail threat didn't scare me. It wasn't going to cause me trouble or anything. Just what were you being blackmailed about anyway?
The blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct?
I'm sure it was referring to the whole mask-to-mask thing. So you still claim that you are mask-to-mask. But I wasn't worried. Mr. Bullet didn't have anything on me.
He didn't?
Anyway, I don't care what anyone says about me. Just as long as Tessie believes in me. She doesn't believe that you're a thief. So that's why Mr. Light didn't believe he was mask-to-mask. That's why I knew they were just hollow threats. I had been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was. You used to be a security chief for KB Security, correct? Yes, that's right.
A security chief? You? And yet, a year ago you were fired without notice. Revenge for an old grudge? A perfect motive for murder, wouldn't you say?
Then why would he wait for a year to do it?
Because revenge is a dish best served cold.
Ah, but... revenge can be reheated in the microwave of evil.
Well, it seems like you might want it. It seems your microwave is broken.
Luckily, I have an extended warrant.
Warranties are invalid if you don't use the product for its intended purpose.
This isn't good. Maybe I should change the subject. Oh, boy. Why were you fired? Mr. Delight, please tell us why you were fired from your job. Well...
The world is filled with those who have said, I wish I had never asked that.
Okay, then I take it back.
Defendant, please answer the question.
He's trying to get in your head, Phoenix. Don't regret your decisions.
Or you shouldn't regret your decisions. Or should you?
Well, I needed money.
You needed money?
Well, you see, Jessie loves to spend it. It's kind of her hobby. Not exactly the best hobby in the world, huh, Nick? You know what? Yeah, okay. My salary wasn't nearly enough, so I stole data from the company. Come again? KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. And since I was the security team chief,
you stole some data and sold it.
Mr. Bullet found out, and I was fired immediately. What? I wish I had never asked that. Well, he didn't press charges, so he can't be charged for that. I was somehow able to keep it a secret and made it seem like I had quit on my own. What is it, Nick? You don't look so good. I'm just thinking about how much money you owe me, Maya, for all those burgers.
Someone who brings harm to their company is fired as punishment. You do well to remember that.
He sure told you. Oh, good thing I'm self-employed as a Phoenix Wright attorney, outlaw.
So you admit that you stole data from your company, is that correct?
Yes, I'm sorry.
This is a very important fact. Please add it to your testimony.
Oh man, this whole thing just took a big turn for the worse, crashed, and blew up. It's gonna take the jaws of life to rip this case from the clutches of disaster. He fired me for selling company secrets, but Jessie doesn't know about that. I think... Wait. I still haven't pressed him on the other thing. What? Why would you do something like that? Well, for Desi's hobby. What else? Wasting money, huh? It's not a waste! So, Miss Delight doesn't know that her husband was fired, does she? So it would seem. I'm not sure what to think about couples who keep secrets like that from each other. I can't believe it. This case has gotten even Maya to think seriously about couples.
Please try to stay focused, Mr. Wright.
There wasn't much to his testimony, was there? Sounds like he's avoiding something. At least that's what it sounds like to me. Uh-oh, I've got a bad feeling about this. We'd better be careful. But if we don't find a way to make him spill the beans, we'll never get closer to the truth. Yeah? Oh, I just had to press him on that twice. Forgot that that's a new mechanic. Just what were you being blackmailed about anyway?
The blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct?
I'm sure it was referring to the... No, wait, did I ask... Oh! Oh! Something new!
I'm afraid that reason isn't going to hold up anymore.
What do you mean?
The victim had no proof the defendant was mask to mask. But you were the one who stole company secrets only 1 year earlier.
But that was all over with once I was fired. But it is true that the fact I stole secrets was kept under wraps. Even so, there is no reason for me to pay up now, a whole year later. But revenge is a British best served cold. Sorry. Is that really true? What is it, Nick? The fact that Ron was stealing company data. I wondered if he would have had a problem if that ever became public knowledge. Yes he would. Mr. Delight, I believe you have been in considerable trouble if your identity as a company data thief was made public.
Mr. Wright, what are you trying to do by bullying your own client?
Oh wait, was that the wrong option? Men are like colonies of bacteria. The more heat you apply, the faster they grow. That's exactly right. Well then, feel free to keep up the heat, my little lawyer amigo. Little lawyer amigo? Yes, now, come on, provide some evidence to back up your assertion. Wait. My attorney's badge, Your Honor. I'm gonna reload. I believe you would have been in considerable trouble if your identity as a company data thief was made public.
Mr. Wright, what are you trying to do by bullying your own client?
Men are like colonies of bacteria. The more heat you apply, the faster they grow. What does that mean? That's exactly right.
Well then, feel free to keep up the heat, my little lawyer amigo.
Oh, little lawyer amigo?
Yes, now come on, provide some evidence to back up your assertion.
Oh, because of his wife. His wife. Mr. Delight, what you said just now doesn't match what you told me yesterday. What doesn't? I think you must have been scared, very scared, of having a certain person find out your secret. Go.
A certain person?
Oh, Desiree isn't in the gallery. Miss Desiree Delight, the defendant's wife. Wouldn't it be Mrs. But I... Listen to me, my Destiny, she...
Looks like if I just sit back and relax, the fun will end before it truly begins.
Godot.
Yes, we know. It was all your wife's fault.
Well, what do you mean?
Mr. Delight stole company data to pay for his wife's spending habit, for which he was fired. Unable to face his own wife, someone used his dirty little secret to blackmail him.
That's a dangling participle. Are you saying that Kane Bullard was unable to face his wife, or are you dangling participle?
And that is how this murder came about.
You can't end a sentence with a preposition.
Oh,
Actually, why can't I end a sentence with a preposition? Who's gonna stop me? No, everything is falling neatly into place for him. Don't talk about my Desi like that, or you'll be sorry.
Well, it seems that we've learned a great deal of things here, so far.
What do you think, Nick? I didn't think it was possible to get so thoroughly whipped in just 20 minutes.
Clearly, there was sufficient motive for murder.
God damn it! Godot's making me do his job for him. I'm not supposed to be prosecuting him.
He stole data for his wife, and he killed to protect his secret. A family man who cared just a little too much.
Okay, but that's not decisive evidence. There's still reasonable doubt. The motive is clear. Let's move on.
Ah! What happened at the crime scene at 1 in the morning, Mr. Delight? Come now, tell us. We're all ears.
God, this is... Why? Kangaroo-ass court, dude. Like, what if he just testified, it wasn't me. Boom. That's a testimony. We have to consider it evidence. And since it's my job to cross-examine, I don't want to cross-examine it. So you gotta assume that it's fact. He says he didn't do it, so he didn't do it. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. Oh! I knew it. That fucker, Mikeland Duckway, is the thief and the murderer. Suddenly, I was hit on the forehead. After that, I remember being a bit dazed. If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. When I came to, Mr. Bullard was lying there, dead. See? So he couldn't have been the killer. So therefore, and that's a testimony, so you have to consider it evidence. I refuse to cross-examine it, so you have to consider it as the truth. So, boom. Get fucked, prosecution.
I believe the detective from yesterday provided similar testimony. He said the mask struck him on the head from behind.
Of course, since Anthony turned out to be the culprit himself, that was all a lie. Oh, fuck.
Ha! No one's going to believe a pathetic lie even like that.
What are you saying? I really was attacked.
We'll find out if what you say is true or not during the cross-examination. Got that, Mr. Wright? Don't go easy just because he's your client. If I see any sign that you are, I'll treat you to another cup of my special blend.
You don't need to worry about that, Mr. Godot. I have faith in Ron. I know he didn't do it. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. Who was this suspicious shadow? Suspicious shadow. God. What asshole wrote that, dude? If there was 1,000 of me, and even if one knew, I'd tell you, trust me. His dodging all of our questions is not helping us win this case. Okay, then how is the victim, Mr. Bullard, at that time? His dodging all our questions. When you ask someone if they support gay rights and they tell you that they are gay, his dodging of the questions is not helping us. Okay, then how's the victim, Mr. Bullard, at that time? What do you mean by how was he? Was he already dead? Was he still alive? Maybe he was the one who hit you in the first place. That's a good question. What do you think, Mr. Wright? Forget it. It's Phoenix. Oh, god damn it, I'm supposed to be asking the questions. Suddenly, I was hit on the forehead. After that, I remember being a bit dazed. This proves that my client couldn't have been the one to do the murder.
Okay, but then who did do the murder?
I don't know, that's the police's job to find out, isn't it?
Well, someone should go to jail, shouldn't they? The only proposed subject was Maya, and it could have been the air. They also lacked object permanence, so it might still be Maya.
Your forehead? Yes, I was hit on the forehead as soon as I entered the room. It was an amazingly fast and powerful attack. Do you remember anything about who hit you? Well, like I said, it was a fast and powerful hit. So I think I was a little dazed for a while. I don't think Mr. Light even grasped what you were asking. Yeah, I'd like to show him a fast and powerful attack myself. Could I borrow a pencil? Are you kidding? You want a pencil? I'll give you a pencil. Maybe that would knock some sense back into him. If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. That? Could you please clarify what you are referring to? Why, my mask-to-mask costume, of course!
Wait just a moment. Mask-to-mask?
Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? Just to be on the safe side, I dressed as Mask-to-Mask. and then I descended upon the CEO of the office of the CEO of KP Security.
What?
Nick, did you know about this? You never told me this. I don't recall him ever mentioning it to me either.
Even I didn't know that.
Ha, now you know how Abishworth feels.
Seems a little friend really loves to keep secrets.
Witness, why wasn't I informed about this? Because you never said you were going to bring me on as a witness. You were prosecuting me. Right, I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. Wait, that's not right. You know how sometimes things just slip your mind?
Huh. My sixth cup of coffee is staring at me coldly. At any rate, we can't ignore this new piece of information. Witness, please correct your testimony.
I'd have been killed if I hadn't been wearing my mask-to-mask costume. When I came to, Mr. Bullet was lying there, dead.
When you came to?
Yes, I was passed out in the corner of the room.
Do you know when your assailant made their escape and to where?
I'm afraid I don't really remember.
Huh?
Once they hit me, I lost all track of what was going on. I think that's when they made their escape.
Huh. That's certainly a convenient story for you, isn't it? It certainly is, isn't it, Mr. Wright? It almost sounds practiced.
Yeah, well, all testimonies are rehearsed. I don't know why you're telling me. We heard this from Mr. Delight yesterday, didn't we? There's not much in this testimony either. I bet he's still hiding something. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll just have to draw it out of him. I just hope it doesn't make things any more complicated. Okay, so, out of the office, there's a suspicious shadow there. Suddenly I was hit on the forehead.
Your forehead?
Yes, I was hit on the forehead as soon as I entered the room. It was an amazingly fast and powerful okay, already. Fucking... I'd have been killed if I hadn't been wearing my mask-to-mask costume. Why were you dressed up as Mask-to-Mask? Why, because I'm Mask-to-Mask, of course.
What are you talking about? Mask-to-Mask's trial is being held next door.
Yes, I guess so. Anyway, at that time, I thought I was being blackmailed over the Mask-to-Mask issue. So I thought I should go as him, just to be safe. Oh boy. Let me tell you, it's a real pain to move around with that cape. That's why it took a lot longer than I'd expected. Took a lot longer? What is he talking about? What do you mean by took a lot longer? Oh, opening the safe, of course. My cape got caught on the safe door, you see? This all happened when I was hiding Mr. Bullet's body.
Well, what was that? Back up a second.
Yes.
You were the one that hid the body in the safe?
Well, yes.
Inconceivable. Why? Just why? What reason could you have? What were you thinking?
Question. When does someone toss their dirty shorts in the washing machine?
What?
The answer is simple. When they take them off.
As usual, I have no idea what you're saying.
Do you mean that Mr. Delight hid the body because he's the murderer?
So you're not as stupid as you look.
His metaphor this time was really obscure.
Mr. Wright, you don't mean that you knew about this whole safe business, do you?
Well, yes.
Why am I the only one not in the loop here?
Oh, wow, not being told about crucial information until the trial happens? I can't imagine how that feels.
Witness, make sure you add this to the testimony.
Yes, sir. Uh-oh. Looks like a storm front is moving in over the Fairweather Judge. I panicked and hid the body in the safe. It took about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. But the body was discovered... fuck me. Whatever, just take the L. Maybe I... Oh! The buzzer went off once at 1:02 a.m. Okay. Why did you hide the body in the safe anyway? Well, because it wouldn't fit in a drawer. That's not exactly what I meant. When I saw that corpse, I kind of lost it. I thought, if they find his corpse, they'll think I did it.
I think you had a simpler reason than that. It's because you killed him. That's why you spent 10 minutes hiding the body.
I mean, Like, you know, it's always like in the horror movies, like, oh my god, dead body, body's dead, we have to call the police. No, we can't call the police, because if we call the police and the police come over, they'll think we killed him. But we reported the, self-report, you fucker. I mean, that is kind of suck. Well, maybe the police shouldn't just assume that whoever made the call is the one who killed it. That would act as that would deter people from reporting the crimes, wouldn't it? Just like how having the death penalty be a punishment for crimes will make people not want to declare someone guilty. Like if I were a judge or a prosecutor or a cop, I would not want to do my job if there was the tiniest chance that someone found guilty would be killed. That's why you spent 10 minutes hiding the body.
That certainly makes more sense.
Hold on. 10 minutes? Oh, the gears in Phoenix's heads are turning. Wish I could relate. What is it, Nick? I just had a thought. Under those circumstances, would you normally try to hide the body? And spend 10 whole minutes to do it? Under those circumstances? What circumstances? Oh. Hey, Nick, if you think his behavior was so strange, why don't you present some evidence that would just show just what those circumstances were? That's it. I'll take a look at the court record and present some evidence. Really? Evidence that he wouldn't have hit it in the case, that it wouldn't have taken 10 minutes? Oh! A buzzer went off. Who hit the buzzer? We heard this from Mr. Light yesterday, didn't we? There's not much testimony. Who hit the buzzer? Who hit the buzzer? It took 10 minutes. If it really did took 10 minutes, then what about the buzzer? Yes! Your Honor, could you please take a look at this record?
And what may this be?
The record for the emergency buzzer that connects the CEO's office to security. If the button in the office is pressed, a security team is supposed to come running. And according to this record, the buzzer was pushed once, at 1:02 a.m.
What?
If Mr. Rondelite truly was the murderer, he would have ran as soon as that buzzer sounded. After all, a security guard would have been heading his way.
Let's remember who we're dealing with here. He probably had no idea there were security personnel in the building.
He used to work there, dumbass. Up until 1 year ago, my client was working as a chief of security. There's no way he wouldn't have known about them.
But, as it turns out, that guard never came.
That was nothing more than a coincidence. The fact that the guard was a pathetic loser, who had just gotten punched in the face by his ex's new boyfriend, and wasn't anywhere in the vicinity, was not something Mr. Delight could have known.
Again, remember who we're dealing with here. It's a sure bet that Mr. Light didn't even notice the buzzer going off.
Do you know how loud a buzzer is? This buzzer is extremely loud. There's no way he could have ignored something like that. If he had been conscious, that is.
Oh. Conscious? What do you mean by that?
Ugh. Because that's my client's alibi is that he was too busy being knocked out to have done the murder.
Fine. Let's hear your theory.
Recall the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. Delight said he felt dazed. I'm willing to wager that he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes.
Unconscious? So he fainted.
That's why Mr. Delight didn't know that the buzzer had sounded. And that's why he thought he had time to hide the body. So what are you trying to say? Oh. Kind of like that voice, but it's too similar to my Edgeworth voice. Mr. Delight was knocked out, and the buzzer went off soon afterwards. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious, it can only mean that there was another person in that room. That's right, whoever it was, they knocked out Ron Delight and then pressed the buzzer.
Order in the court. Mr. Wright, this is preposterous. It was this kid. Ron Delight is the one who killed Kane Bullard.
First of all, he's not a kid, he's 23. Second of all, then who pressed the buzzer?
It was the victim, of course. He pressed the buzzer when the defendant attacked him. He didn't die right away. He must have held on long enough to push that button. So King Bullard sounded the buzzer himself. What is your opinion on this, Mr. Wright?
I need to prove that the real criminal was there at the scene, but how? Can I prove that it wasn't King Bullard who sounded the buzzer? Hold on. Yes, I can prove it, actually, because the defense's opinion is this, Your Honor. This piece of evidence proves that it wasn't the victim who sounded the buzzer. The buzzer itself. I believe this is the piece of evidence, the piece of incontrovertible evidence you were looking for.
The emergency buzzer?
Did you, like, tear it off the wall and take it here?
Is there some kind of clue on it?
Absolutely not. Hey, come on now. At least give some thought to what you say before opening your mouth. The fact that there are absolutely no clues is itself the clue.
Now I'm the one who's clueless.
You're always clueless, you dumb motherfucker. This button has no fingerprints on it. If Mr. Bullet had really pressed it himself, naturally he would have left his fingerprints behind.
Ron Delight obviously wiped them off.
He couldn't have done that without sounding the buzzer again. Why would he? A guard could have come in at any moment.
He touched that button. I know he did.
The defendant, Mr. Delight, was dressed as Mask the Mask. And Mask the Mask always wears gloves. What reason could he possibly have had to wipe the button free of fingerprints?
Order! Order! Order!
It would seem
I've been forced to eat crow.
What? I wonder what blend number crow-flavored coffee is. 69.
However, if the real killer was there at the scene, why would that person press the emergency buzzer? Shouldn't they have run away without putting themselves in extra danger? What's with this awkward silence all of a sudden?
It looks like you're
fresh out of party tricks.
They're onto you, Nick. Just give me a minute to collect my thoughts. Give me a minute to think of another bluff. Some more bullshit to manifest into reality. The real culprit killed Mr. Bullard at around 1 a.m. I almost said Phoenix Bullard. The real culprit killed Mr. Bullard at around 1 a.m. And Mr. Delight just happened to waltz in there when the murder was taking place, right? Bad luck. The killer clobbered Mr. Delight, and then sounded the buzzer. Even though security was supposed to respond right away if the buzzer was pressed. Security was supposed to respond? Are you thinking of something?
Time's up, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you have to say.
Very well, then. Ugh. You've got some guts. I like that in an opponent. Uh-oh. Why did the real killer sound the emergency buzzer? Oh, to call the security guard. Because that way, the killer knew that if they pressed that button, a guard would come running. And that was exactly what they wanted.
Do you mean to say the killer called the guard on purpose?
Yes. Although, as it turned out, he never showed up. Because he was getting his clock cleaned at the time. Huh. What a touching story. You're saying the killer had a change of heart and called the guard to turn himself in? No! Nuh-uh. No, I'm not. When that buzzer sounded, there were 3 people in that office. The victim, Kane Bullard, who was already dead. The defendant, Rhonda Light, who was out cold. And the 3rd person, the real killer. It's Michael Duckwhite.
Hypothetically,
yes. Now then, in this situation, if the real killer made an escape, what would happen? The only ones left in the room would be the victim and Rhonda Light. And if any security guards came running in at that time, I don't know, if I saw a dead guy, and a guy who was unconscious, I would assume that they were both victims of a 3rd party. So, like, how did he know? And if any security guards came running in at that time, they would think that I was the murderer. Not if you were unconscious, though. Then again, cops are stupid. Yes, that was precisely the real killer's objective. If you think cops stupid, then don't call them when someone breaks into your house. I wasn't gonna call them regardless. You're gonna be like, oh, sorry, we can't help you at this time. And then just hang up. That's what a cop would do, you fucking idiot. To frame Ron DeLite for the murder. 9/11 operators are useless. Cops are useless. Suicide hotlines are useless. It's people who who society puts on high a pedestal and use to justify this imbalance of power. They don't do anything. Like, we need cops to maintain order. Well, why can't regular people maintain order? Oh, because you can't trust those people. So, like, you want a group of elites to maintain power, but you don't want those people to be democratically elected. You know what that's called? Fascism. Order! 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 It would seem. I've been made to eat my words once again. Actually, I've been made to do a spit take with a cup of coffee. Mr. Wright, who was it? Who was it that tried to frame me? Michelin Duckway. Wait a second. I'm the one and only Mask to Mask, so...
Nick, you mean the real killer is?
We're gonna drag that person in here right now. But who is it? I don't have any solid proof yet, but think about it. The killer knew Mr. Delight's identity, and they also knew that he had been called to KB security that night. So, the killer used him to execute a well-crafted plan to murder Kane Bullard. Murder the only person who could uncover his true identity.
Now then, let's hear your accusation, Mr. Wright.
Okay, but let me save. I'm gonna save first.
Who was it that framed Ron DeLite for the murder of Kane Bullard?
That is easy, Your Honor. It was Michelin Duckway. Detective Luke Atney. He's the only one who could have done it.
Ace detective.
Luke Atney?
You mean Mask to Mask did it?
Nuh-uh. Your Honor, the person being tried in the court next to us is not Mask to Mask at all. Stolen valor! He is, in actuality, the true murderer of Kane Bullard.
Order! Order! Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Theft and murder. Which is the more serious crime?
They're not even close. Murder is the more serious crime, of course. It's a capital crime subject to a capital...
Oh my god! Oh my god. So every murder got... For one murder, you get executed. This is a fucking dystopia. And like, oh, murder is bad. Yeah, but it doesn't warrant execution. Life in prison, sure. Like, the only things, in my opinion, that should warrant a capital punishment are international war crimes, like genocide. Please remember the trial from yesterday, if you would. And even then, that should be like, it should be like held to a vote of like a jury. Like, do we want to execute this war criminal, or do we just want them to spend life in prison? What do you guys think? When Luke Atney confessed, there was a huge commotion in the courtroom.
Of course, a famous detective was unmasked as, well, Mask to Mask.
Like, are we sure Apollo Justice is the dark age of the law? I'd say we're already there in the dark age of the law. I mean, every trial has to take 3 days. If the burden of proof is placed on the defense to prove that, their client is not guilty, and the prosecution has, like, unlimited power. They control the fucking police. Like, this is the dark age of the law. Instead of being convicted of murder, he was found guilty of grand larceny. That was his true objective all along. And yes, I know, this game is a parody of the Japanese legal system. That was his true objective all along.
To be found guilty?
Mask to Mask had the perfect alibi for when the murder took place. So he and my client had the same plan. Plead guilty to theft so you can't be tried for murder. He was stealing the urn at Lordly Taylor. In other words, being found guilty as Mask to Mask was Luke Atney's airtight, watertight, and unassailable alibi. Your Honor, I could not have been the one who illegally downloaded Shark Boy and Lava Girl because I was too busy killing the president. That's, for legal reasons, that's a joke. I didn't actually kill the president.
A guilty verdict? As an alibi?
Yeah, it's called a plea bargain.
You know, it's almost time. For what? For Luke Hatton's verdict. It was a pretty simple trial, after all. If we're going to stop this trial and stall that one, we need to do it now.
Oh, wait, so he's fine with it?
Of course. That's assuming you have proof that the detective was the one who committed the murder. Mr. Luke Hatton's trial has indeed attracted the attention of the entire country. If we weren't to intrude and fail to review adequate proof of his crime, Mr. Delight would be left in with no grounds for appeal.
Am I really sure about this? Oh, fuck. No grounds for appeal.
Huh. A bet's only good when your life's the ante.
Mr. Wright, I believe in you.
Mr. Delight.
So please. I'm begging you. He believes in me. Thanks, but my decision will determine the rest of your life. Can I really risk your life like this? Phoenix. What was that? Don't stray, Phoenix. For your client, take the path of trust. That voice. It sounds like... Mia! I really hope the Sky Sisters are in this game. Not the Skylar Sisters from the Hamilton play and also Real Life History. Sky. Emma Sky. Lana Sky. Mia! Your Honor, the defense requested immediate recess.
Ha! So that's your answer, huh? Very well. I've decided as well. This court will now take a 20-minute recess. Mr. Wright, when we return, please summon Mr. Luke Hatton to the stand.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ha!
Looks like the roles are reversed, Godot. Now you're the defense, and I'm the prosecutor.
Well, Sir Detective Atme.
I have to say, Mr. Payne, you performed splendidly.
Oh no, Sir Detective Atme. You were the only one who...
Oh hey, it's the judge's brother! That's enough. This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant Luke Hatton. Wait! Don't hand down your verdict yet, please! Well, Sir Lawyer, welcome to my courtroom. Who's this hoser, eh? Don't call me that. My name is Phoenix Wright, attorney at law, and I wish to file an accusation against this man, Luke Hatton.
Accusation? You accuse Mask the Mask?
That man is not Mask the Mask. He's just a ruthless murderer. What? Ha! You know what I know, Mikeland Duckway. October 14th, 12:14 p.m. My sis? I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice. Her spirit is powerful, so she's still alive. Inside your heart. Nicky boy! Oh, Miss Delight. Is it true that Detective is the real killer? It's Mrs. Delight. Although, to be honest, she might soon be Miss Delight if I lose this trial. Well, aside from that, Miss Lincoln, how was the rest of the play? Is it true that Detective is the real killer? To be honest, we don't have any definite proof. I do. But he's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at Lordly Taylor that night? Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atme want to kill King Bird? Because he knew his secret. Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof. Wait. No, it wasn't Kane who was telling, it wasn't Kane who sent those blackmail letters. The other blackmail letters. It was Luke Atme. Luke devised the plans. Fucking... What's his name? Ron Delight. He did the theft, and Luke would take the credit. So, he made Luke made Ron his nemesis. So, for the fame or whatever. Then Cain, he found out, but he got the wrong guy. You know, he assumes, well, Ron did the theft, so Ron is the mastermind behind these thefts. So he sent Ron to blackmail him. But, Luke knew that Ron would blow the whistle on the whole thing. No, I'm not. I'm just doing what the blackmailers tell me to do. So in order to prevent that, he killed Cain Bullard. And it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. You know, it's the classic, it's the mafia snitch hypothesis.
Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atmes, please take the stand.
Speaking of mafia, I think Phoenix once, was, like, Goro Majima's lawyer. I don't know. There should be a Sega vs. Capcom fighting game. I know there's Project X Zone, but that's not a fighting game. Now I'm the prosecutor. Time to show you how it's done, Edge Fuckworth.
Well, how do you do, Sir Lawyer?
I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Mask to Mask. Oh, so this means that I took another victory away from Winston Payne. I'm sorry, I'm afraid even the great Luke Atme has no idea what you mean. Of course, I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could know what's been going on in here.
You've been in the defense seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Mask to Mask.
Indeed, it's truly a child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward about returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example. Red diamond ring. So, the blackmail was, oh my god. Oh, what if he also... But the blackmail letter ended up in the hands of Ron Delight, but it was clearly intended for Luke Atme because, look, Red Diamond is mentioned in the letter, so maybe there were two blackmail letters, maybe King Bullard knew more than I originally thought. So you continue to insist that you are Mask to Mask. Of course!
Very well then, Luke Atme. Let us begin with this simple question. On October 12th at 1 a.m., Cain Bullard was murdered. Where were you at the time?
I was a bit of a class clown back in middle school, but I left that behavior behind me.
Well, I don't know about that, Slim Jim.
One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge.
Thanks.
All right, Mr. Atme, the night of the murder. Speak. We're all ears. As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. Oh, boy. The alibi. I was stealing the yarn as Mask to Mask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photographer contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. That time at which the camera captured Mask to Mask was the same time as the murder.
It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene.
Everything else up until now was all part of his plan. How were you able to get the mask on? Huh? Because your nose would have made it impossible to wear that mask. Or at the very least, extremely painful. There has to be a secret to this picture as well. Even the great Mask to Mask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive. Yeah. Unfortunately, Mr. Atme, we still have to do your cross-examination. A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool. I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick. The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. The alibi. I was stealing the yarn as Master Mask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be a witness. The time at which the camera captured Master Mask was the same time as the murder. Time of the murder was at around... Oh! No, it wasn't. It was briefly before. It was a little bit before. What? About this camera that took this photograph. Oh, come now. It's all too clear what you're thinking. Huh? And I also got myself some fish sticks. You heard me. Fish sticks. I think I said something else. Get your head out of the gutter. You think I altered the time step on the photograph, did you? Nuh-uh.
I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lordy Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lordy Taylor's staff that printed the picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered.
I see. It looks like I'd better find something else that could be suspicious. So, this alibi is false? It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullet at KB Security. But I'm not really spotting anything unusual. There are two possibilities. Either the mask in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is.
If you're making baseless claims, I'll treat you to a penalty myself.
That penalty is probably boiling hot, too. Oh, dude. Godot is probably like the guy who... He's the kind of guy who would blame the old lady for getting burned by that coffee. The famous McDonald's coffee lawsuit. An old woman, forgot her name, something with like a Beck. Her last name had a Beck in it. She bought a coffee from McDonald's, and there were no cup holders in her car. Her grandson was driving. Usually her grandson or son driving. She was in the passenger seat, so she had to place the coffee between her legs to add in the cream and the sugar. But then the coffee spilled, or it broke through the cup. Basically, it got all over her pants and her legs. She got third-degree burns. We'll go to story time later. And there really wasn't a compass. But right now, I have no idea who it was. I don't have an idea right now either. Basic subjections are just what that guy wants. Yeah, don't go gung-ho. Don't play your royal flush. Don't play your royal flush right away. I always keep a royal flush on me when playing poker. The point is, don't play poker with me. There's got to be another way, and I'm gonna find it. Basically, got third-degree burns, and she just wanted McDonald's to cover the cost for the surgery that was required because she had to get a skin graft. But McDonald's said no. Well, they were all like, well, it's your fault because you spilled the coffee on yourself. Coffee's supposed to be hot, you idiot. But the thing is, they were serving coffee at near boiling temperatures. And that old lady, she wasn't the first who got harmed. When she sued McDonald's, it wasn't about the money, it was about making sure this accident didn't happen again. And so McDonald's lost the case. A pivotal moment. But McDonald's, being rich, they knew how to turn this all against the consumers. They spent smear campaigns, making her to look like the villain. McDonald's wouldn't pay money to help a poor woman get surgery, but they would pay money to make her look even greedier than the corporations who ignored her suffering. So anyway, that's why I don't order coffee from McDonald's. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy back job. A photograph contains no more words. Wait. Go back. Fresh. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point. That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. 20 days ago. You sent the calling card to Lordy Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right? Indeed. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. I see.
You truly are evil, aren't you?
Yes, evil is what I am. Hey, Nick, isn't there something odd about this? Oh. Detective Atney was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he's the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona. What? You know, that's true. It's kind of odd. So, what? Okay, this is very embarrassing. I was not paying attention to anything Maya said. Always proud of his ace detectives. If the urn was stolen, well, he was the... Oh... A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here. Is that correct?
Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime.
Surely even you understand by now.
Lordly Taylor provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it.
Okay. The basement warehouse, and this picture that supposedly captures it. It's got to be here. Oh, isn't there something funny about this picture? Not that I can see. Wait, does Phoenix like have a thought cabinet? Am I his inner monologue, like the voice inside his head that helps him figure things out? You bet there is. Also, you bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. Yeah, the time. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the theft took place, and there's something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night.
Very well, then let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny?
Is it the... It's the time. This part here.
Ah, you mean the date stamp?
Boom! Unfortunately, I'm afraid you can't call this a date stamp, because there's no sign of a date here at all. Objection. Oh, what? That's what your problem is with the time?
Unfortunately, I'm afraid you can't call that funny either, Mr. Trite.
Not funny. Didn't laugh. Sorry.
While a security camera that only records the time leaves something to be desired, the Lordly Taylor staff are the ones who set up the camera. It is not the fault of this one.
Sorry.
That's certainly true.
What? Looks like I needed to approach this from a different angle. What? It's gotta be something to do with the... Oh. Oh. This here. This... Oh, shit. Cringe. Hey, Nick, I've been thinking. What is it, Maya? This photo was taken in that basement warehouse, right? And if this was taken on the same night as when we went to see the treasure exhibit, then there's one thing here that doesn't add up. Yeah, it's the fucking statue. The statue was... Wait. The time at which... proves same time as the murder. Okay, maybe it was... something else. That print on the... It's not fully square. Oh! The funny part is right here.
Why, this is a blood stain. Ah, blood. Now this case is getting interesting.
See, I'm not the only one who thought... not actually. Not exactly. This stain is actually pink paint.
Ah, like in Danganronpa. Just paint, and peach-colored at that.
From blood to peaches, the judge sure loves going on these wild tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse. Wait, what? It turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen. The statue. Which means
This wasn't taken at the warehouse. It was filmed on a set, just like the moon landing. Well, Mr. Wright, what is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains? This. The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following. Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime, around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I told you that in confidence, Phoenix! I myself was there when the night the theft took place and saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there. But when I went there the day after the theft, that statue with the old bag was sitting in the corner. Don't call her an old bag. That's the founder of the Crane channeling technique. Show some respect. Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally. Your Honor, this statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It will take more than an accidental push to move it that distance. In that case, can you prove it? I think according to like a mistranslation, it says that Godot is like hates women. So but that's a mistranslation. Do you have anything you want to say to women, Godot? I'm sorry, women. In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night? Can you do it, Nick? Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you are prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime? Oh, frick. Oh, it had to have been Luke. The one who moved it was none other than Luke at me. Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again, on one of your strange delusions. He's gaslighting me. What basis do you have for your strange delusions? Now he's gaslighting me. It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night. That is indeed very simple. However, I got it wrong, didn't I? Why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? The reason for moving the golden statue. Here's where our battle really begins. Okay, I'm gonna save just to be safe. I really hope this isn't like a dead end. Like last time. And it's like, oh, I got it wrong, so we just gotta give up, and then he got penalized again, because fuck this game. Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move that statue? The reason can be found here in this photograph. Luke at me. You pretended to be Mask to create an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single, fatal flaw. Ugh. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. That is why you had to move the statue. A single fatal flaw? Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. Just where in this picture does the lie exist? Oh, let me think. Fail on hard. It would have been... the timestamp. Oh, naturally, the lie in this photo is the timestamp. What do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Atney went to Cable Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lordly Taylor this time. Phoenix, that is the opposite of what you are trying to argue. What does that have to do with the statue being moved? Remember, if you will, Your Honor. When was this statue placed beside the warehouse door? Oh, right. Never mind. Well, the statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the paint. Exactly. Luke Atney had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim. And so, in order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder took place. That's why there's no date stamp. Oh, what the... Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet. So, on the day of the crime, Mr. Atney must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Atney had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match with the way that it had been in this photo. Oh, okay. Ah! And thus he has a fake alibi. Order! Order! Mr. Atney, is this true? One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What's that? The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime. It's true that the camera had been set up by the Lordly Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage the data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data. Ah. Now we're getting somewhere.
Mr. Godot, what is the meaning of this? Godot, I warned you about making me wait. Now put that coffee down.
Get that pep off there.
My 11th cup. I've promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial. Which means I'm still good till the last drop. However, the defense has a very good point. A good point. So what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points.
I think he's got his points mixed up with his other points.
So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that the statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied.
Which is?
That it's only a possibility.
Yeah, well, my client being a killer is also only a possibility.
Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams. That's very true.
Oh, wait, don't fall for that one, Your Honor.
Hey, Mr. Damask.
Yes?
If there's no funny business in your actions as Mask Damask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it. Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn.
I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box in Zavari. It was then sent into the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. That's pretty much all the stuff we've heard before, isn't it? Yeah, but we will find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave.
Witness, you are sure that there are no mistakes this time?
Zavari! Does that mean yes or something? Is that even a word?
Very well then. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Remember, press him on everything first. Oof. Sacred urn. I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. 20, you say? You were asked to guard the urn by Miss Adrian Andrews, is that right? Indeed. It seemed that they have heard of my Zavarkling reputation. I see Miss Andrews is still attracting the weirdos. You better watch out too, Maya. What? What? Oh, right, because Miles also attracts the weirdos. The urn was placed in a box in Zavari. It was sent to the warehouse. You mean this box? Yes, that pathetic box. Lady Andrews was especially taken with that urn, and she wouldn't let anyone enter the storeroom, not even me. Huh. Interesting new tidbit. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. So you're sure that you had never seen the urn before? Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance to that warehouse. However, look at me, let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. You mean this calling card? That's right. That is without a doubt my calling card. I guess Mr. Light didn't make this after all. Of course, because Aunt Me knew about the emblem. Making his car authentic would have been child's play for him. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. Then no one entered the basement warehouse?
Fortunately, there were many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. And this is a photo that provides that, huh? Indeed. To be honest, even if a photo was taken, I didn't think it would matter terribly much. Hey, Nick, if this photo is a fake, Detective Atney might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken. That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. If we can prove that he's lying there, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. Never saw the urn. I need to take a good hard look at the court record. Something that could have proved that he saw the urn. It could be this, because that would show you what the urn looks like. I was just thinking about fucking Beef Wellington. That wasn't his name. Richard Wellington. Ugh. In my tongue. My tongue. Richard Wellington freaking out when he realizes that yellow baseball glove is not actually bananas. What he thought was bananas, it was yellow baseball. Oh, bananas! It's just a dumb trial. Huh, I didn't know I could check the calling card. Take care of the speckled urn, won't you? Unable to see the urn, then how did you know it was speckled? Mr. Atney, if you really are Mask to Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? But of course! Is there a problem with that calling card? Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Mask to Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here. Surely this pink refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn.
Yes, that is true. But so what?
Truth be told, there is no way that Mask to Mask could have known about this pattern. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Yeah, that's what most speckled patterns are.
Paint stains.
And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor.
I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Trite.
The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse. The urn was broken due to human error, or should I say an error-prone human. Look at that, fail girl. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn.
You can't be serious.
And yet this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atney had seen this urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. Huh.
Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself?
Alright, that did it. He's broken. Nick, I think it's still a little early for our victory pose. Huh? Right.
Huh. It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days. Conviction, you say?
That's what this court is for, convicting people.
Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Mask to Mask.
No, you were still trying to argue that my client was.
And now we're calling him a murderer.
You don't think we're being a tad fickle? I mean,
that's a good point.
No way, don't fall for that too, Your Honor. Yeah, well, same on you, Godot, because you were arguing. Yesterday, you were arguing that my client was a thief. Now you're arguing that he's a murderer. How about you make up your mind?
You say that Luke Atney was the one who killed McCain Bullard. Then let me ask you this. Why would he do that?
I don't know. How come the prosecution, decides the motive first every time, but I have to decide the motive as the last thing to do? An excellent point. Motive, Mr. Wright, motive. Might you my merry murderous motive manifest? Nick, he's getting his second wind. He farted?
If he prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on Ron Delight, as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder.
Yes, and that motive was that the voices in his head told him to do it.
The only one with any motive we've seen is Ron Delight. Isn't that right, Detective?
Indeed. According to my own research, the boy's motive is clear.
Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then.
No! No, not really. Not really. It's not actually impossible to prove guilt without motive.
Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were.
I'd be honored to, Sir Old-Timer. They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Including the judge. He's supposed to be impartial. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. I'm just getting more and more convinced that the judge personally hates Phoenix Wright. Because of the first impression that he made during his trial. It's like, you kept sneezing, so now I'm going to penalize you whenever I have a bad day. Because fuck you, Phoenix Wright, I hate you.
Oh, what's that? You prove that your client couldn't have been the killer? Oh, I don't give a shit. You still have to... You have to find the actual murder, because fuck you. I'm not making this easy for you, Phoenix. Fuck you.
I, look at me, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Master Mask. That is why Mr. Delight sought fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. Uh-huh.
So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant?
This is the blackmail letter found at the defendant's apartment. A handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. What? Okay, but like...
Very well, Mr. Wright. Begin your cross-examination.
Maybe it was also handed to... Had no points of contact with the victim. Well, your security company decided to investigate Master Mask, who wrote the blackmail, who harbored Wilbur Bullard, who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight, who wrote the black. He didn't send it to Ron Delight though, because it says that he mentions a red diamond. Yes! Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme? Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's alright. When you said this letter was addressed to Ron Delight, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction?
I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that.
Oh, I get. You don't want to know how I get off, Godot. You don't want to talk.
At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists.
Oh, some toxic masculinity.
Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior? Indeed. Time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter.
Could it be this? No, wait. Is this the contradiction? Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. Oh my god, it is! It contains a picture of the Tear of Emanon, the stolen jewel.
What about it?
The problem is this jewel's color.
Color? I'm not much for discussing color myself.
According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day.
Red?
Which means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Tear of Emanon that Master Mask stole at all.
And your point is, Mr. Trite? So you are trying to say that this blackmail letter was intended for someone else? That is what you're trying to say, right, Trite? That is what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright?
Well, that is what you're trying to say, right, Nick? Yes. This is who King Buller was actually blackmailing. Okay, I got you now, you fucking moron bitch. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atme. Do you have some sort of basis for that claim? Source, it came to me in a dream. You have been personally involved in every single mask-to-mask case. Ooh. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen and received... Oh, shit, I don't need this. Fucking... Horse's dick. Horse's dick. Okay. You received a jewel as your reward.
A jewel?
Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring. That is the diamond referred to in the letter, which means that King Bullard wrote that letter in order to blackmail you. Ah!
Order! Order in the court! Order, I say. It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Wright.
Uh-oh. I don't like the way you said that.
King Bullard blackmailing Luke at me? Are you for real?
Yes, I am. Nick, come on, stand up to him.
Then answer me this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world. Yes, it certainly does.
Oh, fuck.
King Bullard threatened to make Luke Atney's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep a secret. So just what was that identity?
Atney killed King Bullard because he was afraid of a secret identity becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret? This is what it all comes down to, Nick. The identity that Luke Atney wanted to so desperately keep secret was his identity as... I know what's going on. I know what's going on now. A blackmailer. Luke Atney was a blackmailer.
Ah. Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that King Bullard was the one blackmailing Luke Atney. Are you saying that Atney was a blackmailing someone else on top of that?
Yes. You have to admit, that does sound a little odd. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense. King Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atney. But Ron DeLite was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So, did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from some very kind person, incredibly detailed plans.
Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean that Ron DeLite was actually Mask the Mask.
Yes, but that is what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. DeLite steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atney.
Shh! Silence!
Now I see. It's all becoming clear. What is it? What is? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless with the tendency to jump to conclusions. Don't psychoanalyze me, fuckface! How did you... You say that I, Luke Atney, was blackmailing Ron DeLite. In which case, I would naturally know all about his relation to Mask the Mask. Well, yes. Ron DeLite started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed that first crime.
Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence. During the first crime, how did Luke Atney know that Ron DeLite was Mask to Mask?
Let me look at that, his first heist. Look, he's there. He was able to deduce... Oh! I think I see it. See what? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention.
What do you mean?
This newspaper clipping. Oh, I can kind of see, it kind of looks like Japanese characters. Maybe I'm just, or maybe I'm wrong. I think it's just squiggles. I'm just overthinking it. It has a picture of you and Ron DeLite in his guard uniform. It seems that Mask Damask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket. This is a bucket. Dear God. There's more.
No, that sounds far too stupid to be true.
How many cases have we presided over, Judge? You know. Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Atme. That's when you learned that under his mask, Mask Damask was really Ron DeLite. What the? Wasn't he supposed to be Mask Damask? Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective. I can't believe it. He's just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud, trying to pass himself off as an ace detective.
Yes, give him death! Mr. Electric, kill him! Kill him! Kill him now!
Why you? How dare you expose me like that?
Why I mean, I've never blackmailed anyone in my life. I am a famous and proud ace detective and also Master Mask. Why can't you understand that?
Oh no, he's going Joker mode. I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity.
Why you? How dare you even dash one suit ever so slowness? Why don't you do something yourselves with those big mouths of yours? You're real fools, I say. None of you can compare to my genius. You're just us. Scoon! Disregard to me! Come direct me! It's enough to make one laugh.
Is he okay? Is that it?
It would seem we finally arrived at the real answer.
That was quite a performance by Mr. Atme.
Oh my God, we did it! Bailiff, please prepare a cell for Mr. Atme.
Well, okay, I find this guy guilty instead of your client, Phoenix. Okay, what's gonna happen to him?
We're gonna give him a slap on the wrist, send him to jail for like a week.
What? But you said that if my client was found guilty, he'd be executed.
Yeah, well, I really don't like you, so fuck you. So, yeah.
The hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim.
What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my ruling.
Allow me to say one thing.
I will be the one to judge.
You're not the... You don't get much more in your face than that.
It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Trite.
Well, what do you...
It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like Luke Atme was a filthy blackmailer. And that he wasn't at Lordly Taylor the night of the murder.
That's right. That's why he's the one who killed Mr. Bull.
But there's still one thing you have yet to prove.
What's that?
Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene.
Yeah, well, just because my client was in the... Fuck. We have just as much evidence that he did it as evidence that my client did it, except he's a dick.
Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered.
Oh, no way!
Order in the court! Well, Mr. Wright?
This is it. This is the final round.
Any arguments, Mr. Wright?
I've got to prove that Atme was at Mr. Buller's office on that night. But can you really prove that?
That's not enough. Mr. Trite, I want to hear your answer.
That night, Luke Atme was at Sakabia Security, and the defense... Well, obviously we can prove it, because if we say no, then we go to fuck... The defense can prove it, with evidence.
Are you sure? Don't worry, I'll watch over you as you break down and fall to pieces. Very well then, let's see this proof. Prove that Luke Attorney was at Sakabia Security that night.
Let's just start over. Maybe I can't prove it. I can't prove it.
Just as I thought.
But, if we hear more of Detective Atme's testimony...
Unfortunately,
That's as far as you go, Mr. Wright.
What do you mean?
I won't allow for any more testimony. That's what I mean.
What? You can't do that.
Have you forgotten? Luke Atney is here after we interrupted his own trial, and you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as mask to mask.
No! Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as mask to mask. My verdict will verify that. Justice Rondelite will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness.
Order in the court. That's enough deliberation over this witness.
I can't believe this. At this rate, Ron is... Don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence, and by then it'll be too late. Huh? Why?
Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law.
What? Double jeopardy?
Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime.
Oh, shit. What? So, like, if I kill so if I, like, get declared innocent in a trial for murder, I can just kill people and, like, you can't get me to jail. You can't take me to jail. You can't take me to jail because I was already found guilty. You're innocent. You fucker.
That is a fundamental rule of all courts. And it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else.
Mr. Atney will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as mask to mask, which means
he'll be innocent as far as the murder of Kane Bullard is concerned.
Or maybe they just mean for that specific... No way!
The fact that you are unable to prove Mr. Atney's guilt of that crime here means that he will never again be tried as Kane Bullard's murderer.
So I lose? I lost! Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron's proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer, Luke Atney, will go free.
You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. As long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further question of this witness. Are there any objections? Then I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atney.
Fucking lost. Oh! I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result.
How did you...
Phoenix, raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. That voice. No way. Mia's back. Long time no see, Phoenix. But... Mia! This is the true power of the Karain channeling technique. I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me, but now she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now, let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine. Not yet. The testimony's not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today.
Yes, that's true, but...
Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks. Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as mask to mask. My verdict will verify that. Justice Rondelite will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness.
Yes, but those comments appear to have no importance whatsoever.
Very well. Then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that alright with you, prosecutor? I really feel like sometimes the prosecution should be a cross-examiner.
Is something the matter, Mr. Godot?
Nothing. I gotta look it up, see if, like, prosecutors do cross-examine. Because I know I know the defense has the right to cross-examine. Nothing. Oh, Sir Lawyer, looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods would do anything to me, Lucat, well, then if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. Let's hear it. Huh?
It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination.
Mr. Godot, what are you...
Very well then. Mr. Lucati, I'm going to allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks.
The defense would like to hear why you declared the defendant to be the true murderer.
So please, give us one last bit of testimony.
Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief.
Indeed, it is true that I was not at Worley Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph ready. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Ron Delight. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his masked mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter, the victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Zavari! Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy. Why would he have mistaken the color?
This testimony actually seems to hold it pretty well. That's a dumb... You're just gonna allow that assumption? I've made much more likely assumptions that were just shot down because it didn't have evidence. I want evidence that Kane Bullard was colorblind.
The witness's earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything.
But of course.
But how did you know about the emergency buzzer?
The police investigation documents went directly through me. And I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, Sir Lawyer.
Wait, weren't you in jail during the police investigation of the murder? When you... Like, what, you were saying you were solving the crime in jail?
Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, Sir Lawyer? I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
You cannot postpone Luke Atmy's trial any longer. This is your last chance.
Hang on a sec, just one chance?
It seems that the party is about to begin.
Well, Phoenix, there isn't any evidence that contradicts with that testimony. So it would seem.
What do you mean, so it would seem?
Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it. So does that mean I just have to press? It's not about the evidence, it's about pressing?
Cup number 17, the last cup. It seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial.
I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony, and I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradiction remark and press it. Remember, you only get one chance.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination.
Let me just say, if I really only get one chance, I was not at Lordly Taylor. I had to leave to see about another really important job request, not about the date beforehand. Only deduction was what informed me that the key card and wallet, what was a burning cruiser, which only sounded once. It did only sound once, according to the record. The button did not have fingerprints, would have left prints, was wearing, which is why he left no prints, mistook the color of the jewel. Why would he mistake the... Mr. Atmy, about this last remark.
You still don't get it, do you, Trite? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement.
What?
I said this before. There's still one thing you haven't proven. That the scum was in Kane Bullard's office that night.
Oh, fuck.
And now, it's time for me to drink my last cup.
Fuck me! So, it is just trial and error? Ah.
Okay. I feel bad for the fucking defense lawyers at the higher trials where that all the guilty parties are sent to. Because it's all like,
Like, so you're telling me that your previous lawyer was able to prove that you couldn't have done the murder, but you were still found guilty because the defense wasn't able to determine who actually did it? That is good. Okay, after your case is done, I'm going to sue that courtroom. You know, the biggest criminal in the entire Ace Attorney series, it's the judge. Oh! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot. What? Mr. Emmy, it seems you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder. How can you say that? Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atney? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit. Is that correct? Indeed, that's what I said. Sorry about that. My deductions are absolutely foolproof. More like your deductions prove that you're a fool. I'm sorry, whatever do you mean? For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty. When exactly did we learn the fact that Ron Delight was dressed as mask-to-mask when he went to the scene of the crime?
That was, it was just a few hours ago. Back when my sixth cup was looking at me with a cold stare.
Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. Oh. How do you know the victim was wearing a red handkerchief? That's right, the defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know this are those who have been watching this trial. Do you understand now, Detective Atney? There's no way you should have known about that, unless you were the real killer. You were in the next courtroom, being tried as mask-to-mask. So then enlighten us. Just how did you know about that piece of information?
Well, come on, this detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand.
Now who's making assumptions? And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit. There is one, and only one way, for Detective Atney to have found that out.
Only one?
One way, you say. Please recall, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer.
But Mr. Delight never saw his attacker, so there's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke Atney.
It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head.
Just what are you implying?
Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to reason that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight.
Impossible.
And that's how he would have known that, Ron was wearing the costume. Detective Atney, you saw Mask-to-Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. Oh boy, here it comes. Mamma mia! I'm guilty! Guilty! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Take a good look, everyone! Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I must watch this to create one by myself! Here I am, the treasure clown!
That's the same line you gave yesterday.
Nuh-uh. But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time. He created his own rival out of Ron Delight. Man, Edrush is gonna have a field day prosecuting that guy.
What an awfully complicated incident. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atney, who is in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atney tried to frame Ron Delight. He then claimed to be guilty as Master Mask in order to escape his true crime.
And to that end, he came up with this plan. To use the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi.
At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth.
Excuse me?
I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of murderer.
Don't ignore me!
Oh, wait. Oh, I didn't realize you were there. Well, I'm off to play with jingling keys, wondering how I got this job.
Why wouldn't he be? About the verdict.
I know. You never committed any murder.
That's right. I'm so glad you understand that, but I really am Mask the Mask!
Huh?
So, thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? What was it you said? Double jeopardy.
Now that you mention it, I've been careless.
Careless? What do you think, Mia? As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. A defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was once found innocent. And Mask the Mask is really innocent? It would seem so. Yay! For now. For now. Right. Now that the mastermind is in jail.
This court finds the defendant.
Now that the mastermind is gonna be in jail, or worse, Ron Delight can't exactly do any more thefts. He'd be caught. Boy, this is really lucky. Wait, hi. This isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still am Mask the Mask after all. No, rob a bank, get found not guilty, then rob that same bank. And you can't be tried for robbing this bank because double jeopardy. Boom! Infinite money. You did it, Phoenix. Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call on me much these days. Oh? I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of torn these days. You mean about becoming the master of the Karain channel in school? Ugh, what's this, oil? There's oil on the hinges of my tray, a desk tray. I found out how to open it all the way. Don't know why this grease is here. This greasy oil. Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother. Misty Faye, right? Watch over her, will you, Phoenix? Of course. Well then, see you around. Mia. Mr. Wright. I don't know what to say. Congratulations, Mr. Delight. Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though, now that all of this has happened. Come on, just be happy already. Maya. You've been cleared of the murder charges and got off as Master Mask to boot. But in exchange, I lost everything. Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming Mask to Mask. I did it all for one reason. For her. You mean your wife, Desiree? She hates criminals more than anything. Now to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So that's why you became Mask to Mask? Yes, but it's all over now. A broken bowl can never be put back together. Yes it can. That's not true, right, Nick? Right. Really? Can we go back to the way things were? I'm gonna have to show him some evidence to cheer him up. Okay, here we go. That'll be fine, and Nick can prove it. I can? I kinda wish you would check with me first. Mr. Light, even if a bowl is broken, there's always a way to put it back together. Oh! The Sacred Urn! Dusty was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife. She's always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. There you are. Also, yeah, you can put a bowl back together, and it will be just as beautiful as before it was broken. The Kintsugi. Mr. Light. You did it, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy. Thank you. I appreciate that, but, I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, don't you?
Ronnie, why didn't you talk about me about what was going on? I had no idea you'd quit KB security. I never imagined that you were really Mask to Mask either. Mr. Light, what are you going to do now that you know? You're not going to really leave him, are you? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast. So fast there's no way he could ever get away. Didn't you say that you hated criminals? Hmm? Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective. I see. My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them, like a man. I just love a man who's so chivalrous. Chivalrous? Yeah, the code of chivalry. Not to be confused with the code of chivalry. I knew I was right about you. Every day I spend with you is filled with thrills and excitement. Desi. Desire. You really do love Ron, don't you? Nicky boy. Yes? I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us. Oh, well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. Philip, I can feel my face going red.
Mr. Nick, Mr. Maya, congratulations!
Oh, talk about that, Simon.
Mr. Nick, how could you? With another man's wife in front of Mr. Maya. No, 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 you gotta know. I'll never forgive you. Never, ever.
Funny. So, just as the case came to a close, so too did my consciousness. Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together, but I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Ah. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together, even better than before. Amazing. Okay. Mystic Maid Maya. A brand new episode has been added. And now I'm gonna edit this video. But before that, let's see what happens next time on Ace Attorney.